Anytime, maritime!
Anytime Maritime.
Anytime Maritime. Anytime Maritime. It's Anytime Maritime.
Anytime, maritime! Anytime, maritime! Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Anytime Maritime. You know, today I will be speaking in the Propeller Club of Manila in Makati. They are a group of maritime stakeholders comprising of Filipinos and non-Filipinos, and they've been in the Philippines for quite a while. And by invitation of Leo Bolivar and the rest of the Board of Trustees of the Propeller Club of Manila, we are joining them for lunch and delivering a talk about connecting the islands, driving sustainability. What else will I talk about but Philippine domestic shipping? And so we thought of covering it and sharing with you the video of the Propeller Club Manila event. So para na rin po kayong nandun. So I hope you listen and be part of the lunch of the monthly meeting of Propeller Club Manila. So thank you for tuning in, and anytime maritime!
It's a privilege, actually, to be introducing an amazing woman. The energy, the passion, the commitment she has invested in the local maritime industry and the community around it. She is the chairperson of the Archipelago Philippine Ferries Corporation, APFC, the company behind FastCat, which is transforming inter-island travel across the Philippines. The company has grown to 18 vessels as of 2025, with a target of 30 vessels by 2030, aligned with the company's long-term growth strategy, Vision 2033. This expansion supports improved connectivity between islands, regional economic integration, and the modernization of the maritime transport industry. Beyond her role and APFC, Mrs. Pastrana is the president of the Archipelago Philippine Seafarers Training Institute, which is committed to equipping Filipino seafarers with globally competitive skills. I think Mrs. Pastrana and the PCM has a common vision when it comes to the seafarers training and equipment. She also leads several other ventures, including I Want Clean Incorporated, Green River Properties, and Victoria Nature Park, reflecting her diverse entrepreneurial ventures. She holds a postgraduate diploma in executive maritime management from the World Maritime University and a master's degree in maritime education and training from the Philippine Merchants Marine Academy. She is currently pursuing her PhD at the World Maritime University in Malmö, Sweden. She is also an active member of Interferry and serves as a chairperson of the Philippine National Police Maritime Group Advisory Council. In addition, she is a board member of the Worldwide Ferry Safety Association, vice president of Women in Maritime Philippines, WIMAPhil, and a member of the Entrepreneurs Organization of the Philippines. In 2024, she was featured speaker of TEDx Forbes Park. I think most of us know TED Talks. Yeah? Where she shared insights on the critical role of maritime transport in shaping sustainable, inclusive economic development and importance of investing in Filipino maritime talent. She's the founder and the host of Anytime Maritime. So be ready. Maybe one of these days she will reach out to you and have you as a guest at Anytime. I was there once.
Yes.
A weekly podcast with the goal of increasing awareness on anything maritime. Balancing leadership with service, Mrs. Pastrana is devoted parish lector and commentator, wife of Mr. Christopher Pastrana, mother of 4 adult children, And you won't believe it, she is a grandmother to four. Would you believe that? Too young to be a grandmother. Okay, now, that is what I call a superwoman. Without further ado, it's an honor to present to you Mrs. Mary Ann Ibuna Pastrana. Welcome to PCM.
Thank you. Good afternoon, distinguished officers, members of the Propeller Club Manila, leaders of the maritime industry, representatives from shipping, ports, logistics, finance, insurance, law, and valued partners in the maritime industry. It is a privilege to be here with you today. Thank you, Leo, for the invitation. And yes, you have guessed it, in Anytime Maritime. Thank you very much. I did some research and I saw that the Propeller Club has always represented something important, a gathering of people who understand that shipping is not merely an industry, rather it is an enabler of trade, mobility, food, tourism, scholarship, livelihoods, and definitely national development. For a country like the Philippines, this is especially true. We are not a nation connected by highways alone. We are a nation connected by sea lanes. Our geography gives us extraordinary opportunity, but it also gives us a very clear responsibility. If our ships, ports, crews, regulators, logistic providers, and maritime institutions perform well, our islands become closer, our markets become stronger, our communities become more resilient. But if the maritime connectivity is weak, the cost is felt immediately. I remember my husband was invited in the Congress to talk about the high cost of transporting goods in the Philippines or within the Philippines. Do you know that it's cheaper to ship goods to Hong Kong rather than Manila to Cagayan de Oro? I'm sure you know that. So goods become more expensive, travel becomes harder, and local economies become isolated. Emergency response becomes slower and opportunities become uneven. That is why domestic shipping is not a secondary sector in the Philippines. It is a national infrastructure. It is an economic infrastructure. It is a social infrastructure. And today, I would like to speak about the future of Philippine domestic shipping, a future that must be safe, sustainable, connected, and collaborative. When people speak about shipping, they often think first of international trade, right? You send people abroad. I have many friends here who send abroad. Large vessels crossing oceans, you trade that. We were talking about that, trading wheat from abroad to the Philippines, coal from Russia, anyway, containers moving between global ports, tankers, bulk carriers, and major trade routes. But for the Filipino people, shipping is deeply personal. It is the student going home to the province. It is the family transporting goods for small businesses. It is the farmer whose produce must reach the market. It is the tourist discovering another island. It is the community relying on these vessels for supplies, mobility, and access. During the COVID times, when most of the passenger ships stopped moving, FastCat did not stop moving, carrying medicines and supplies to the islands. So domestic ferries are not just moving passengers and cargo. They are moving lives, communities, and local economies. And I distinctly remember a time after post-COVID, I went to Land Bank in Mindoro, and as soon as the bank manager saw me, she stood up, shook my hand, and said to me, "Thank you for connecting the island." When COVID was hitting us hard, we were insecure about the medical response. We were very much comforted to know that FastCat is there to connect Mindoro. And I think that is the essence of why we do what we do. The ferry is not only a mode of transport, it is a bridge. And every safe voyage strengthens confidence. Every efficient route expands commerce. Every reliable connection creates opportunity.
That is why the future of domestic shipping matters so much. It affects not only ship owners and operators, it affects ports, terminals, logistics companies, local governments, tourism, agriculture, manufacturers, traders, seafarers, and ordinary Filipino families. So the challenge before us is clear. How do we build a strong domestic shipping sector that is affordable, reliable, safe, modern, and environmentally responsible? That balance is not easy, but it is necessary. The maritime sector today faces several pressures at the same time. First, there is the continuing demand for safety. Sir Andy, you were just talking about how safety is important. And for the domestic routes, for my fellow Filipinos here, and maybe the Filipinized foreigners in front of me, you know that the Philippines hold the highest record of maritime deaths during peacetime. You would know that, sir. Yes, Doña Paz, and it's not something that we're proud of as a Filipino, and it's something that we want to change. Safety can never be treated as a minimum requirement. It must be the foundation of our operations. A vessel may be modern, efficient, and commercially successful, but if it is not safe, then it has failed the most basic responsibility. Second, we face the issue of fleet modernization. Many domestic routes require vessels that are fit for purpose, suitable for Philippine sea conditions, and designed for the needs of both the passengers and cargo. Modernization is not about buying newer vessels. It is about improving systems, standards, maintenance, crew competence, emergency preparedness, and passenger experience. And I know we have friends here who are doing digitalization and modernized training, and I think that is really part of it as well. Third, we face the pressure of fuel cost and operational efficiency. Fuel is our biggest cost for operators. Every inefficiency affects not only the company, but also the affordability of service for the public. Fourth, we face the growing reality of climate change. Stronger weather patterns, port disruptions, route interruptions, and environmental expectations are no longer theoretical issues. They affect daily operations. They affect voyage planning. They affect infrastructure. They affect risk. I remember when we were starting in this business, and there will be a typhoon, you know the shape of the Philippines, right? So when the typhoon happens, we would just stop in one corridor and still have operations in the other parts of the country. But nowadays, the last 2 typhoons that happened in 2025, the whole fleet stopped. That's how big the typhoon coverage is. And you can imagine the cost of that, sir. 18 vessels stopped operating because of the size of the typhoon, and that's climate change for us. Fifth, we face regulatory complexity. Regulation is necessary, but regulation must also be practical, coordinated, and aligned with the realities of domestic operations. A safe and sustainable industry needs strong regulators and responsible operators working together, not in isolation. And finally, we face the challenge of investment. Modern vessels, cleaner technologies, digital systems, port improvements, training programs, and safety upgrades all require capital. The question is not only what the industry must do, but how the industry can finance the transition in a realistic and inclusive way. I had just come from a 2-day conference with a Marina-sponsored maritime decarbonization project. So Marina said putting together stakeholders to talk about how we will decarbonize and our nationally determined contribution in the decarbonization, in the global decarbonization. And again, in the same room where we had stakeholders, we were looking for the bankers, we were looking for the finance people, and they're not there. And I was telling Marina, we must invite bankers, they must understand our situation and how we need their support so that they can finance green ships moving forward. But allow me to emphasize safety. In maritime, compliance is important. We need rules, we need inspections, we need documentation, we need certification, but compliance alone is not enough. Safety must become a culture of safety. means that safety is present even when no inspector is watching. And you are inspectors on that table, I know. So the safety culture is that it must be embedded. It means that the crew understands not only what procedure to follow, but why the procedure matters. It means that management listens to operational feedback. It means near misses are treated as learning opportunities, not as inconveniences. It means training is continuous. It means maintenance is not postponed until failure. It means passenger safety is treated as a sacred obligation. The strongest maritime companies are learning organizations. They do not wait for accidents before improving. They study data. They study incidents. They listen to people. They invest in systems. They benchmark against best practices. They treat every voyage as part of a continuous cycle of improvement. That is the kind of maritime culture the Philippines needs. Not a culture of minimum compliance, not a culture of pwede na, but a culture of professionalism, accountability, and care. The second major shift is sustainability. Across the global maritime industry, decarbonization is now one of the defining issues of our time. International shipping is under increasing pressure to reduce emissions, improve fuel efficiency, and transition toward cleaner operations. But we must also recognize the practical truth. One size does not fit all. The decarbonization pathway for a large international container vessel is not necessarily the same as the pathway for domestic ferry serving the island communities. The realities are different. The routes are different. The port infrastructure is different. The financing capacity is different. The technology readiness is different. For domestic shipping, sustainability must be practical, phased, data-driven, and suited to local conditions. That means we should not only think in terms of future fuels. We must also look at what we can do now. We can improve hull performance. We can use better anti-fouling systems, which we actually use in FastCat. We optimize routes and speeds. We can improve voyage planning. We can monitor fuel consumption more accurately. We can strengthen preventive maintenance. We can use digital tools to analyze performance. We can train crew to support energy-efficient operations. We can collect better data so that decisions are based on evidence, not assumptions. This is where data become powerful. You cannot manage what you do not measure, and you cannot decarbonize effectively if you do not understand your own operations. For operators, data allows us to ask better questions. Which routes consume the most fuel? Which vessels are performing efficiently? Where are the delays happening? How does weather affect consumption? How does the hull condition affect performance? Which operational practices produce measurable savings? Sustainability is not only about environmental responsibility. It is also about operational discipline. A more efficient vessel is usually a more competitive vessel. A well-maintained vessel is usually a safer vessel. A data-driven company is usually a stronger company. So from our experience in FastCat, we have 18 ships connecting the Philippine Islands and all the major islands in all the 3 nautical highway corridors. So the central, western, and eastern corridors, nautical corridors in the Philippines. And the first FastCat arrived in 2013, and our goal is to have 30 FastCats by 2033. We have learned that transformation does not happen through one big decision. It happens through many consistent decisions. It happens when you choose vessel designs that are safer and more appropriate for the communities you serve. So FastCat is a catamaran, and you can see that on the picture. It happens when you invest in systems, not only assets. It happens when you work with technical partners to improve efficiency. It happens when you study anti-fouling coatings, hull performance, fuel consumption, digital monitoring, and operational behavior. It happens when you accept that sustainability is not a slogan. It is a management discipline. Our work on initiatives such as the decarb, fleet efficiency efforts, reflects only one important belief: that domestic shipping sector must not be left behind in the sustainability conversation. But we must approach the conversation with realism. We need cleaner shipping, yes, but we also need affordable shipping. We need innovation, yes, but we also need financing. We need regulation, yes, but we also need implementation pathways that operators can follow. This is where collaboration becomes essential. No single company can modernize the maritime sector alone. Operators cannot do it alone. Regulators cannot do it alone. Ports cannot do it alone. Technology providers cannot do it alone. Bank and financiers cannot do it alone. Academic institutions cannot do it alone. The future of Philippine domestic shipping requires an ecosystem approach. Regulators must create clear, practical, and forward-looking policies. Operators must commit to safety, transparency, modernization, and environmental responsibility. Ports and terminals must prepare for more efficient vessel operations and eventually cleaner energy infrastructure. Financiers must understand that maritime modernization is not merely a business expense. It is an investment in national connectivity and resilience. Technology providers must offer solutions that are not only impressive on paper, but suitable for Philippine operating conditions, something that is affordable for the domestic ferries. Maritime schools and training institutions must prepare seafarers and shore-based personnel for digital, safety, and sustainability demands of the future. And organizations such as the Propeller Club of Manila are vital because you bring this voice together. They bring these voices together. This room represents the maritime ecosystem, and because of that, this room has influence. So as we look forward to the future, I believe that Maritime Philippines 2030 should be built around several priorities. First, safer vessels and safer operations. We need to continue raising the standards of domestic maritime safety through better training, better systems, stronger maintenance, and a deeper safety culture. You know, when I attend Crew Connect, I get invited, I attend, I spend the day. My husband would ask me, we work together in this business. He would tell me, what are you doing there? That's international. And I go, no, I go there because I want to, when they see me, I want them to think of domestic shipping and see that we need help too, that we need to collaborate. Please do not forget domestic shipping. Second, more efficient maritime connectivity. Routes must support trade, tourism, mobility, regional development. Domestic shipping should be integrated more effectively with ports, roads, logistics, networks, and local economic plans. Third, data-driven decision-making, which is actually my dissertation in my PhD degree that I'm pursuing. So that's data-driven sustainability, whether it's in safety, fuel efficiency, route planning, passenger service. Data must become central to how we manage our maritime operations. Fourth, realistic decarbonization. The industry must reduce emissions in ways that are technically sound, financially viable, and operationally practical. Fifth, human element and human capital development. Ships do not operate themselves. Technology is important, but people remain central. We need competent crew, capable managers, safety-minded leaders, and maritime professionals who are prepared for change. Sixth, public-private collaboration. The maritime sector is too important to be handled in silos. We need alignment among government, industry, academia, finance, and communities. And finally, leadership. Not leadership as a position, but leadership as responsibility. The responsibility to act before a crisis. The responsibility to invest before failure. The responsibility to innovate before being forced. The responsibility to build an industry worthy of the people it serves. Allow me also to say something about leadership in maritime, and also because that was our conversation in this table earlier. For many years, maritime has been seen as a male-dominated sector. But the future of maritime must be more inclusive. We need the best minds, the best leaders, the best innovators, the most committed professionals, regardless of gender. Women in maritime are not symbols. They are decision makers, researchers, executives, engineers, educators, regulators, seafarers, and entrepreneurs. And I'm so happy to see women in the room, although we're lesser than the men. Women in the room, hello. So inclusion is not about fairness. It is about performance. The wider the pool of talent, the stronger the industry becomes. Oh, by the way, the wife of Mr. Tuapin is also a fellow in Women in Maritime. Divina Ribedro is also part of Women in Maritime. The challenges ahead, safety, sustainability, digitalization, modernization, and competitiveness are too large for us to exclude talent. The maritime industry must welcome leadership wherever it is found. So the future of Philippine shipping is not about moving vessels, it is about moving people, moving goods, moving local economies, moving communities toward opportunity. It is about moving the nation forward. For an archipelago, maritime connectivity is destiny, but destiny must be managed. It must be planned. It must be protected. It must be modernized. We cannot be satisfied with the old idea domestic shipping is just a basic service. Or when we hear in the international world, shipping world, they go, ay, domestic lang yan, lang, they say lang. Like, it's okay, it's different. Oh, we operate in the same water, same. So why does it have to be different in that way? It is much more than that. It is a platform for national growth. If we get it right, we strengthen trade. If we get it right, we support tourism. If we get it right, we lower logistic barriers. If we get it right, we improve safety. If we get it right, we protect the environment. If we get it right, we connect Filipinos not only to places, but to possibilities. So my message today is this. The future of Philippine domestic shipping must be safe, sustainable, connected, and collaborative. So safety must be more than compliance. Sustainability must be more than aspiration. Digitalization must be more than technology. Leadership must be more than position. And collaboration must be more than conversation. We have an opportunity to build a maritime sector that reflects the needs of our people and the realities of our geography. A sector that connects the islands with dignity. A sector that supports communities with reliability. A sector that moves cargo efficiently. A sector that protects lives. A sector that respects the environment. A sector that helps the Philippines compete and thrive. The sea has always shaped our nation. The question now is how wisely we will shape our maritime future. So, to the Propeller Club of Manila, thank you for continuing to bring together the people who care deeply about this industry. This gathering monthly, third Wednesdays of the month, I think is very important, and the scholars that you actually help be part of the maritime community, thank you for that. And may this gathering not only strengthen networks, but also strengthen our shared commitment to a safer, cleaner, and more connected maritime Philippines. Thank you for your attention, and good afternoon. Oh, sure, do it. Yeah. Do you mind if we play a 2-minute video?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
If we have some time for questions.
Yes, we can do that.
Can have a 2-minute video.
Yeah, and I'll just play a 2-minute video. This is our ferry care video that we play on board, so that for those of you who have not seen a fast cat, you actually see it through. Thank you for your attention.
From vessels to the world. The IWC legacy. At I Want Clean, we believe that our greatest achievement is not just delivering top quality cleaning services, it's the people behind the work. Our team members have grown with us, bringing dedication, skill, and passion to every task. Today, many of them have taken their experience beyond the vessels, routes, and projects they once served, and are now thriving in new roles around the globe. Through these short video clips, we proudly showcase the true product of IWC, globally competitive individuals who started their journey with us and are now making an impact worldwide. Because at IWC, we don't just clean, we build careers, shape futures, and create global professionals.
Hi, I'm Anna and I'm formerly steward of Pascat F2 and I'm currently working in Disney Cruise Line as schedule host from Housekeeping Department. Happy anniversary, I Want Clean. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marilyn Jacinto, stewardess Pascat M15, Calapan, Batangas Group. Now, currently working at Percy Group as cabin steward. Happy 9th anniversary, I Want Clean.
Hello, I Want Clean team. Have a good day. I am Darwin Tikis, senior steward before in Pascat, wrote in Luzon and Visayas. But now I am on board in Queen Anne, one of the cruise ship of Cunard, as a hotel assistant housekeeping. Wrote in a round of Europe, US, and Asia. Hope to see you soon here and happy anniversary of I Want Clean and thank you. Bye!
Hello, good day everyone. My name is Donna Rita Naloni Moica, a former senior steward from Pascat M9, Summer Sorsogon Road. And now I'm currently working in expedition ship under career agency as a cabin stewardess, and my route now is all over the Europe. And I'm happy to be part of the I Want Clean last 2018-2020. And happy anniversary, I Want Clean. God bless us all.
This is Alden Marhujo, steward Pascat M6, Dumaguete Dapitan route. Now currently working as a hotel cleaner in Norwegian Cruise Line, traveling Alaska, USA. Happy 9th anniversary, I Want Clean. Thank you.
Hello everyone, how are you all? I am Maria Chia Bunda Cunarco, former M3 senior steward, route Bacolod to Iloilo or Iloilo to Bacolod. Now I'm currently working at Royal Caribbean International Cruises as one of the shore excursion staff, or we call it the International Tour Guide. Mag-ingat po tayong lahat and happy anniversary sa I Want Clean. Hello po sa lahat!
I Want Clean team, I am Renan, a product of I Want Clean, former senior steward of M15 Calapan, Batangas route. Currently, I am on board Disney Cruise Line as operations assistant lodging for housekeeping. And I just want to greet I Want Clean a happy anniversary and I wish you many more years of excellence.
Hello everyone, I am Francine Biasero. I was a senior stewardess of Pascat M11, route Cebu to Bohol, and now currently working in Virgin Voyages under the Department of Housekeeping, going to Board Department. And now, I am very thankful to be part of Pascat family, and I hope I will see you soon here. Bye bye guys, thank you!
Hi everyone, my name is Marvin Minazas, a former senior steward of Pascat M6, Dumaguete Dapitan Road. Now, I'm currently on board of MC World Europa under the MC Cruises as a cleaner. And now, I'm traveling all over the Europe. Happy anniversary, I Want Clean!
I have one question.
Yes.
Dry docking.
Yes, sir.
Where do you dry dock your ships? I'm just asking that question because I'm not involved in domestic shipping, I'm international shipping. And I believe that dry docking is perhaps a problem here. It's maybe too expensive or takes too long.
Yes. You got it.
Okay, so that's a problem.
Yeah.
Can something be done about this?
Yeah,
Where do you dry dock your ships?
Yeah, so we dry dock wherever the route is near So either here in Manila, Frabel, or in Batangas, or Cebu, Leyte, there's a new one in Mindoro. And to answer your question, yes, that's one of our pain points because all our inputs are imported. So whether it's steel or the engine or the propeller, they're all imported and it's costly, and the capacity of the shipyards are not like, when you need it, we had to wait. So dry docking would be a pain point for us. I don't know if you know, but the Philippine laws are more skewed towards importing ships or building it abroad than building it here. Because if you import modern ships, you get to import it tax-free. But if you build all your boats here, all of your inputs are taxed back to
Materials.
yes. So it becomes more expensive. That's why ship owners tend to build outside and have it built outside. So we've been telling our regulators to somehow change this. They're looking at the industry. They're looking at setting up like a tax-free zone until it gets fixed. But I know in the States, they have the Jones Act, wherein they said if the boats are going to be used in America, all the inputs must be made in America or sourced in America. So I think that's how the shipbuilding industry was built in the States, in the US. So I hope something like that happens in the Philippines later.
Thank you. Yes, Dennis.
You talked about sustainability and the carbon restriction earlier. What is the go-to fuel for considering other things?
It's the regular diesel.
Regular diesel.
Yes. Well, for us, in our case.
Okay.
But I was just in the decarb conference in Marina. I found out that most of the domestic ships still use heavy fuel oil.
Okay.
Yeah, a small percentage only uses the diesel like we
So you're not going into LNG, methanol, or whatever fuel source that you did?
So my husband's the one in charge of that, but we're looking at hybrid.
So between my husband and I, he's the one in charge of planning for the new builds and the building. We're looking at hybrid vessels. So we had actually flown to the States and took an all-electric ship to test it. ABB was the battery supplier. So we're looking at hybrid. We're not confident enough to go fully electric, and there's not really a lot of alternative fuel just yet. So we're looking at hybrid for now. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then,
Actually, you kind of answered. I was kind of interested in what we were looking at, particularly as it's more short trade. So electric vessels have been successful in Australia and New Zealand and parts of Norway and Sweden. I'm very nervous about ammonia as a fuel. I used to carry that as cargo. I'm not keen as it as an alternative fuel, particularly if you've got passengers on board. And I feel your pain about the shipyards when you think that just down the road in Nabotas, during the galleon trade, the Philippines was famous for building some of the best ships and the biggest ships in that era. And I'd very much like to see that trade come back. Can I ask, in 1 year, what's the number of passengers that you have moved around the Philippines?
Yeah, pre-pandemic we were carrying 5 million Filipinos per year. Yeah, and about 500,000 rolling cargo. And then of course it was, drastically went down during the pandemic, and then we're slowly picking up. We have not achieved the level of the pre-pandemic times. We worry about that.
Impressive.
Thank you.
yes.
Very thanks. Very nice to hear your presentation. I guess you also take cadets on board, right?
Yes, definitely. That's why also I want to talk about this. Yes.
Yes,
We take
you take cadets on board,
Yes.
and engine cadets and deck cadets.
Yes.
Do they have to pay you for their service, or do you pay them an allowance?
No. So by law, the Marina said that in order to take cadets, we must have our own STOs, ship training officers who's actually watching them. So I set up a company that just do that, the cadetship program. And within the program, we had included an electronic training record book. We have our learning management system so that we combine being on board the ship with LMS and ETRB, and we have developed virtual reality training. And so, yes, we charge a fee. They don't stay on the boat. They dorm on a place near the ship so that it's extended. We have our own training place near the port so that they still get to complete their electronic or computer-based training. And yes, we provide more cadetship berths. And I remember when Marina created a policy on limiting the cadetship berths, I had to go to Marina and tell them, hey, why are you doing this? Like, you can't put a limit on the number because you don't know the ship and you don't know the characteristics of the ship. But then we innovated, and why am I doing that? Because we have brain drain. The seafarers would like to go abroad where they make so much more money, 10 times more. And so where does that leave us? 2 years with us and they leave. We give them all this training and then they leave us. So yeah, I had presented this in a conference, in an interferry conference in London in 2019, and somebody commented and said, so you agree that FastCat is just a stepping board for them to have careers abroad? And you know what? Honestly, I just kind of humored it in a way by saying, well, I'm just happy that there's 108 million Filipinos with a young average age. So I will just work hard to train them so that we build that strong pipeline of maritime professionals. And that's why I'm also, taking invitations to speak to the community, because I appeal to manning agencies like my friend here for us to work on that pipeline to make it smooth, because it's a reality that we cannot just, it cannot go away. So why not just really build that pipeline? And the pipeline is, don't forget domestic, be part of domestic trade, and then go international perhaps, and then maybe when you're done international, come back to the domestic trade, is what we see happening. But it takes people like us to put our minds together and find the solution to make that work. And the conversation that I started is actually building a strong pipeline of maritime professionals. And yes, we take cadets. And when I talk to the cadets that's in our system, I tell them, the cadetship berth is precious. So make sure that you really work hard and you learn a lot because it's precious. There's not a lot of cadetship berths. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thanks.
Any other questions for Maria? Yes, Hayes.
First of all, Miss Marian, I'm would say I'm quite proud as a Filipino that there's a company such as FastCat that is actually
FastCat, sir. Correction.
FastCat.
FastCat. Stands for faster and cat because the boats are catamarans.
Yes. So I'm quite proud considering that now I just knew that your company is very much into doing its very best to comply within the standards or even beyond standards. Though at the same time, I'm also quite upset considering that you're facing a lot of problems and it seems there are so many struggles going on and there's no alignment with the government institutions that's supposed to be helping you. Especially you said there's no financier helping out. With that said, do you have any data to say that your company in FastCat requires your crew to undergo wellness training and mental health support?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, sir, we have our LMS and we have some training on that aspect. We have a lot of movement. We have a lot of movement because they go abroad, but we kind of embed that in our system.
Okay, yeah. So with that said, Ms. Marian, if ever you would need Sailor Society's help, we're very much open to provide support.
Thank you, sir. Noted. Looking forward. We actually work with ICE One now. So we kind of help ICE One, not ICE One, the 10 outstanding maritime students of the TOMSP, we FastCat worked with that because we wanted to help them, and then also because of Ice Fund. So yeah, we're open to collaborations, partnerships, because we believe that this is all a shared responsibility. Whatever we can do to contribute to the betterment of the industry, we're for it.
Excellent. Okay, well, I think that's all. I think we can wrap it up now. Thank you very much for coming today. Thank you, Caroline. Really interesting, and we wish you the best of luck with all the obstacles you have.
Very similar to my mother-in-law, crocheting maritime. Very, very similar.
Hope the problems you have will be solved going forward to make life easier, not just for you, but everybody in the local domestic trade. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for coming.
There you have it. You have seen the luncheon, the networking, the people of Propeller Club Manila, and I am extremely grateful that they have invited me to speak. I hope you learned a thing or two about connecting the islands and driving sustainability. I have met people in the maritime industry, and for the young people and even the not so young people, I think going to meetings like that is good networking and good place to share ideas, to talk about the industry and just current events. So I really met a lot of interesting people, and I am thankful for the invitation. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Anytime Maritime, and until next Tuesday, Anytime Maritime. Anytime Maritime!
Anytime Maritime.
Anytime Maritime!
Anytime Maritime. Anytime Maritime. It's Anytime Maritime.
Anytime Maritime! Anytime Maritime!